Babajide Ogusowo. He joins us now on the news at 10. Babajide, great to see you.
Good evening, Amarachi.
Good evening. So there does seem to be a new wave of terrorism, unfortunately, especially in the Northwest. And, for the period of time the coronavirus was, there was a lot of attention on coronavirus. There really wasn't much said about insecurity. It all seems to have died down, but it seems to have resuscitated again. Is there any research at this point that points to why this is happening?
Perhaps we should ask ourselves, what is the most important thing on the mind of a criminal? And I'll share that with you tonight, and I think it will surprise you. But what research shows is that crime has many friends, has many neighbors. But going by what the Greek philosopher Aristotle believes, he says, poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. And if we believe the role of poverty in crime and terrorism, then we should look at that most recent report on poverty by the National Bureau of Statistics, because that will allow us to see the marriage that is going on between poverty and insecurity. And I would like us to start from that tonight by taking a look at the marriage between poverty and insecurity. And here's what you find once we look at that. From the research from the National Bureau of Statistics, they say that there are 16 states in the country where more than half of the families are poor. 16 states in the country. If we look at those states, here's what you find among those 16 states. All of those states, apart from 2, are located in the northern regions of Nigeria. From the research from the Bureau of Statistics, it shows that in the Northwest, all of the states in the Northwest, except for Kaduna, more than half of families living in the Northwest are living above the poverty line. And so it lets us understand, and we shouldn't be surprised by the news of crime, terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping, because we've been able to see that in the regions where there's higher poverty is also where we have higher insecurity. Remember Aristotle, poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. So we shouldn't be surprised.
Well, some analysts have said that there is a cultural dimension to this, and especially for areas where you have grazing land. What should be done then to minimize such conflicts?
So yes, we have evidence that there's a cultural dimension between the Hausas and the Fulanis. But I'd like to link this with the start of the coronavirus. Last year in Wuhan, when the coronavirus started in Wuhan, it was not the Nigerian government's responsibility. But eventually it moved to Europe, America, Asia. And what started as not being our responsibility has become our problem. And so with security, that's the situation we find ourselves. There are several things that are not the responsibility of the security agencies, but it has become their problem. And so let's look at the cycle. What I mean is, if families are poor, then they will not be able to afford good health and education. If families, Amarachi, cannot afford good education, they will not get jobs. And if families do not have jobs, the state government will not get tax. If the state government doesn't get tax, then the state government wouldn't be able to develop anything, and the cycle of poverty goes on and on. So while it is important for the security agencies to rethink and be more proactive with their approach to security, we all need to understand that there are a lot of non-security factors that are affecting security in Nigeria.
Yeah, but we've been talking about security for such a long time, and people are tired of asking what's been done about it. But now, when will it end?
Now, that's a tough question. We need to look at the security factors and the non-security factors together. But here's what I found out, and that is there have been 4 waves in our fight against terrorism. And if we want to sustain our fight towards terrorism, we need to understand these 4 waves of fighting terrorism. So I want us to take a look at that. Okay. The first wave was 2002 to 2010. What you find in the first wave of terrorism in Nigeria was that it was flat. 2002 to 2010. That's the number of deaths recorded due to terrorism. It was flat. The second wave started in 2011 and ended in 2014. The second wave was the wave we saw a rise in terrorism, peaking in 2014. The third wave started in 2015 and ended in 2017, which was a decline in the number of deaths recorded in terrorism. Now we're on the fourth wave, which started in 2018. In all, what we've seen is in each of these waves, the terrorists are changing strategies. And we need to also understand that the terrorists also watch the news. And so we need to take that discussion away from the news and stop revealing our strategies every time security chiefs meet. We need to be more proactive rather than reactive in our approach to terrorism.
Well, thank you so much. I'm sure that the security chiefs don't reveal everything on TV. They do leave some to discuss with government officials and those who really need to hear those suggestions. But thanks again.
But in the final words, we need to understand that knowledge is limited. There's something that's greater than knowledge, and that is imagination. Imagination has no limit. So our security chiefs and our leaders of non-security systems need to be able to imagine rather than just focusing a lot on knowledge. And once we're able to imagine victory and take actions and stop talking a lot in the news and revealing our strategies, then we will make more progress.
Copy that, Babajide. Thanks again.
Pleasure is all mine, Amarachi.